Awesome. Okay. So, the two handouts I've given you, the black and white one, right? Has anyone seen this one before? No. This one's actually from PLP, and it's very, very useful. I would strongly recommend that you refer to it when you are annotating and you get to that point and you're going to do your capability and you're like, oh my God, I swear I've said everything there is. Okay. Now you'll notice on this that I have actually not labelled what capability it's for, and I've done that very deliberately. The reason being that capabilities can actually be pretty much anything you want. Okay, so we often think of like literacy. What would you say is a literacy skill? Reading. Okay, so if we have a quick squiz here, we've got some reading on here, something about reading. Halfway down in the middle of the column it says reading for understanding. Okay, so that's great, that's a literacy skill we could do there. But that could also be a personal capability. Anyone guess how?
Understanding bit.
The understanding bit. You are increasing your personal understanding by reading. Okay. It could also be critical and creative thinking, because it's actually going to allow you to enhance your thinking. You're reading for understanding. You're actually critically analysing it if you're trying to understand it. So what we need to kind of try and encourage, and you guys are going to be my, like, I don't know, go-to team. You guys got to help me train up everyone else in your classes now. You're going to be the capability experts. We should give them cucumber badges. Oh my God.
I'll make them tomorrow.
Okay, brilliant. We have an obsession with cucumbers. Don't ask. So with the skills, we keep getting hung up. Like, is this literacy? Am I doing literacy? Am I doing critical and creative? The secret to capabilities is you're always doing all of them. Okay, except for numeracy. That one's a bit weird. But aside from that, they're all pretty much happening all the time. Okay. So if you're sitting there going, I can't think how to do my capability, I want you to pull out this form, and this will give you some ideas. And it doesn't have to be under a specific heading, right? The way that people really do well with the capabilities is they start to think about the skill as being important to them as people and to their research. Okay, so if you were going to try and take away something from today, it would be, how is my capability making me better as a person, and how is it making me better as a researcher? Okay, so that's how you start to get less lame responses. Because is anyone finding that they're starting to say the same thing every time? Yep, and that is like the big no-no. Because if you've looked at your performance standards, you will see that it says D4, informed, understanding, and thorough development. Okay, that's the A level there, which I'm guessing you guys are all going for, seeing as you're giving up your lunchtime to chat with me about capabilities. So when it is thorough, it means that you're doing it differently all the time. Okay, but even more importantly, you're telling me what you could do before and what you can do now. Okay, so a really good capability reflection might actually say, before I read this source, I only kind of understood what orangutans were doing, but now I've read for understanding and I feel much more confident in this, and that was me developing my personal and social understanding of the issue. Okay, so it's really important that we focus on a couple of different areas as much as we can. The coloured piece of paper I've given you is a little bit more ordered. Okay, if you have a look at that one, you'll see that the coloured bands might be familiar to you if you've been using the SACE descriptors to help you. They are basically the SACE descriptors. Okay, the white box is what you want to do. Okay, the white box is practical examples of how you've worked with your capability. I'll get you another one. Actually, I don't know how we don't have enough. That's really weird. Oh, is there a spare? Oh, because you just want to take 7. Thanks. I know it's good, but So you can see there that, say, for example, in the literacy component again, one of the things we have to do is communicating. And I've suggested that you talk about when you've spoken to others. Okay. Now, a really good capability development is going to go further than this. Right? In terms of grade bands, if you can copy that out, we can only really give you like a C minus D plus for that grade if you can copy it from the SACE descriptors. Okay, because you've proven that you can read or you can control V, and that's pretty much it. Okay? But if you can change the words in there into your own words, you can start to look more like a C grade, because now you're starting to show understanding. But if you can then show us how you've done it, like the before I, now I can do this, which is more of this white section, now we're starting to look at B grades. Okay. But you didn't give up your lunchtime for B grades. Okay, you gave up your lunchtime for A grades. So this is where it gets a little bit more complex, and I'm more than happy for you guys to email me and we can workshop these in more depth. But with an A grade, it is very specific to your question every time. Okay, so C's, they can just kind of copy. B's can do skills. Okay, they're giving us the skills of the research. I am better because I have new vocabulary. I'm a better reader because I use this source. The A's are saying, my source taught me about the Great Barrier Reef. And because I'm doing critical and creative, I had to be critical of the perspective within that source. Okay? Because I know that this is a very contentious issue. People are really hung up about this. You've got farmers who want to destroy the whole thing so they can have more cows, and you've got Nemo who wants to live. Okay, so I know a lot about this topic, as you can tell. So you've got to really start to think about, why is this capability important for my question? Not just randomly capability in life, but my question. So you're doing maths in the universe? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yep, maths in the universe. And what's your capability?
Personal.
No?
It was critical.
Critical and creative. Okay, so critical and creative. Let's have a look at our thing here. Critical and creative. It's on the back. It's blue. Okay, so what's the last source you just read?
The last source was
Okay, cool. Now, he is all about maths in the universe, isn't he? Okay, so we've read an expert article. Have you guys all read sources from experts recently? Yeah? Okay, so as soon as you're reading something from an expert, you're being critical, okay? But that is also literacy, because you're also doing those critical literacy skills. Okay, critical literacy is like a unit in English, isn't it, Miss Richardson? So you're doing two different types of capability there. Those aren't your capabilities, doesn't matter. Let's say, personally, you want to get better at critical literacy. Maybe that's one of your goals that you've set. So see how we're just ripping the buzzwords? Because personal and social is all about personal development, setting goals, planning. We've done that, okay, because we've got an expert source. Now, how am I going to be critical and creative? Let's have a look. Was the source useful?
yeah.
Yep, excellent. You just did critical and creative. Okay? Because we have a very complex topic, and we know that in a complex topic, we don't get any old hack, do we? Okay? None of you should be interviewing hacks at this point. Okay? No dodgies, no random, conspiracy theorists. We are critically selecting the best sources. We're getting our experts. Okay? That's making us good. Now, let's link it to our questions. Okay? Most of you will be able to say things like, because my topic is very contentious, because my topic is very complex, because my topic has multiple viewpoints, because my topic has a very intimate, deep knowledge. Okay? Yours is very specific. Yours is super specific. Okay? Those questions specifically require you to be super critical. Okay? Does that kind of make sense? Yeah? So now we're not just saying I'm being critical because my teacher told me I have to be critical. We're saying I'm being critical because my question has too many people fighting about it, or is being debated online, or is in the news a lot, so people are talking about it and they may be uninformed. Maybe it's a newer theory, so there's less academic consensus about it. Maybe it is that it's a mental health issue, so every situation is very personal. Okay, all of those kind of things lead you to make a more sophisticated response. Okay. How's that sound? Okay, cool. So one of the big things with the capability is that there is no right or wrong. Okay. The other thing is that you can repeat yourself sometimes, but you have to show us how you're getting better. Okay. So if you say in source 2, what was yours again, Olivia?
Middle distance running training.
Oh yes, sorry, your capability.
Oh, sorry. Personal social.
Personal social. Okay, so Olivia's doing personal social and middle distance running, designing a training program. Okay. Are you a runner?
Yes.
So this is personally relevant to you. Perfect. Are you immunised? So this is personally relevant to you. If someone is doing a mental health concern that they are personally experiencing, personal and social. Okay. If you are, Kate, what was yours again? Yours is the ACL injuries. Have you had one? No, yours is ACL, sorry. You're sitting in like the same line of sight. Have you had one?
Yeah.
Okay, personally relevant. So you're a netballer though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like my whole family has knee injuries. So
Excellent, perfect. So yours is both personal and social then, it's great. So whenever something is personally relevant to you, and you can really stretch this. Grace, you are an Australian citizen. You have a personal connection to the Great Barrier Reef. Okay? You have watched Finding Nemo. You care about the anemones or whatever they're called. Okay? So, that is how you can link it. You can say, this is a personal issue. If I don't take this on board, who else will? Anyone doing environmental issues, okay, or social issues, you can clearly state, I am the future. Okay, maybe don't say it like that, but okay, I am, I have a dream, exactly. Let's get all Martin Luther in here, right? Praise the Lord. So what you have to do is really think, I have experienced this. I have lived this. Okay? I am the next generation. I'm going to be deciding this in 10 years' time. Okay? Bailey, you play sport. You're a woman. Yep. Hesitated there? So you have a social concern here. You have a personal concern. Women are being denigrated in sport, What sort of hope do we have if our soccer players can't get paid the same? Okay? So this is personally relevant to you. This is something that you should be angry about. Okay? You are not an orangutan. I don't get it. But you are, I'm guessing, a globally conscious citizen. Yeah? Somebody who cares about environmental issues. Yeah? Yeah? Or it was just an easy topic. Either or. Don't say that. So all of those, you have to talk about how doing your topic is making you personally more informed. Okay? Now, another flip side to this is if you are becoming more personally informed, you become a better social commentator. Okay? So next time Grace hears someone saying, Great Barrier Reef, sucks anyway, let's just get rid of it. She can say, oh, excuse me, sir, sitting on the bus randomly, please let me inform you about the actual value of the Great Barrier Reef. Okay? What was your topic again?
Vegetarianism.
That's right, and yours something to do with the environment. Yours is an incredibly contentious topic. I reckon every 2 articles on my Facebook feed are about veganism and how it's either destroying the earth or saving it. Okay? So as a young person, who's entering that phase of your life where you get to control your health choices and control your food choices more, you have that opportunity to become an informed global citizen. That's what you're really doing here. Okay? You thought you were just doing a research project, but you're changing the world. Okay? What's your topic? Okay. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Excellent. So whatever I said for other Sophie. Sorry, I forgot to say it to you before, so I had to work it in somewhere. So, same thing, you play football, don't you? Yep. So, are you doing the fact that they've started an AFL league, or?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, you are now. So, you can talk about how, you're seeing social changes, or maybe you're not seeing social changes. Maybe you're, as a person who last year, once you kind of go to a certain level in the amateur league, you kind of have no future. You just kind of do it for fun. But now you've got the next level that you can go to. So personally, you have more aspirations that you can follow. That's quite important. Your family will have knee injuries. You can now be an informed commentator. You can say, as the only person here with 2 functioning kneecaps, I can now engage with my family more. I can talk to them as an informed commentator. Which was anxiety? Yep. You can talk about how in society that is increasing rapidly. The rates of anxiety from 10 years ago to now have doubled, especially amongst young people. You can talk about how now you're going to be a better person for your peer group because you're going to be able to really talk about it in an informed way. You're going to dispel myths. You're going to be able to actually give back to people in a really informed way. Okay? So same thing, that idea of immunisation. People fight about it all the time. People are completely nuts about it. There was an anti-vax party in the election that just went. There's so much crazy stuff. So it's really, really important that people are making that concerted effort to actually inform themselves about the right, the science and all of that. At the same time, any of you who are doing contentious issues, you can talk about things like the fact that you're not actually going to shoot down other people when they're talking crazy. You're going to be a respectful commentator, You're not going to say, nah, you're an idiot. Okay? You're going to say, well, actually, this is your conversation on the bus. Yes, you are completely, batshit crazy, but at the same time, please let me present an alternative argument. So you're actually going to help dialogue occur. Okay? And that's not only a literacy skill, that is a personal and social skill, and it is a critical skill, because you're actually critically evaluating a variety of perspectives. The other thing that you're doing is you're creating your own understanding. So anyone doing critical and creative, have you guys had a bit of a hard time about that creative aspect? Yeah? It is a tough one. So for many of you, a lot of it will come down to creating your own argument or creating your own understanding. Okay? Because unless you're actually physically making something, it's quite hard to do. So you could be talking about how you are creating a nuanced argument. So you're actually building your understanding of others' perspectives to create your own. That whole standing on the shoulders of giants thing? Have you guys heard that before? Like, no one ever invents anything new. They just take what other people have done, modify it, make it better. That's what you guys are doing in the research project. You're collecting up all these different people's opinions and you're making your own. So that's your creative side. Okay. I just had a really good thought. Oh, the other thing as a fallback is if any of you are doing literacy or critical or creative, one of the really good things you can start to talk about, especially as you move through and you get away from the skills so much and more into the conceptual side, you might want to start to think about how research is important generally. Okay, so start really specific. Start your understanding, your question, your skills. But as you go along, broaden your horizons. Okay, so as an example, literacy, okay, is incredibly important to research because at the fundamental level, research is the engagement of 2 people to share ideas. That's all it is, isn't it? Somebody wrote something, they've engaged you in it, you're reading it, and now you're sharing in a dialogue. That is the fundamental level of research. So if you want to go to that super conceptual level towards the end of your folios, start thinking about how, as a researcher, what are you contributing to others? Okay? Because you're actually putting stuff back out into that research field. You're actually going to produce a paper that, other people could read. So you are engaging in that cycle. Okay? Now that's a personal and social thing as well, because research relies on social interactions. Yeah? You can't have research if you don't have society. Personally, you are becoming a researcher. Okay? So see how you can extract the same idea from multiple aspects. Okay? Critically and creative, you're creating your own opinion, you're critically analysing others. Okay? So, just to finish up, the key things I want you to take from today. Number one, anything can be capability. Okay? Absolutely anything. The more creative you get with this, the better. The further away you get from the SACE descriptors, the better. Okay? Number two, start personal. Before, I didn't know how to do this. Now I've read this source, or done this experiment, or written this survey, I can do this. Okay? Number three, go conceptual. Okay? Why is this capability important to research generally? Why is this capability making me a better person? Why is research important in life? Okay? Through the critical lens or the literacy lens, etc. So I've tried to give everyone at least one example you could take away with you. I don't think I missed... Liza, did I miss you? Yeah, sorry. What was yours? Stress, that's right. Oh, yes, mental health one. So, again, if you're going through personal social, is that right? Critical and creative. So I think you've got a really good topic in that you can actually say that you're critically evaluating the modern perspective on stress, because most of us, we live in this world where it's really cool to be busy, and so we become more stressed. But realistically, you're starting to say, well, if we are going to live in a world that stresses us, how can we change that? So you're actually thinking about changing the social perspective on stress. You're thinking about personally, you're about to go into year 12, in 14 weeks. Not to freak you all out. And that's including holidays. So you've got, or maybe it's 15. It's okay, 15's great. So you've got personally, a stressful time of your life coming up, and you're learning how to better manage that. Yep. It could be as well things to do with critically evaluating how young people function, and then, creating alternative strategies for them to actually, work with. Anyone else I missed? Has everyone got at least one thing they can go do now?
Can I just ask?
Yeah.
So you're doing this on an annotation?
Yep. So,
what sort of volume of writing? How much writing?
a couple of sentences
Okay.
per thing.
So if you start that with the first one,
Yep.
you're
Then
saying
you move
to
on.
progress it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
still keep the theme, idea of theme running.
It has to be within the same capability,
Yes.
but it doesn't have to be the same thing every time.
No.
Yep.
I mean, you develop. So if you've sort of got an overall idea of what you're developing.
It could be, but it could change quite a lot as well, because it would be really dependent on your source and how confident you are in that anyway. So if you're doing literacy, you're saying, I've enhanced my vocabulary because I read this source. The next time, unless you legitimately did learn new words because it was a different type of source, you probably wouldn't extend that one. You might, if you do keep learning new words, you would definitely keep talking about it, but you would want to start off on that more basic, before I couldn't use the word whatever, now I can use this word. And then the next time you might say, my next step is that I've actually started to understand the importance of literacy in this topic.
So if you were, say, reading something and you read one opinion,
Yep.
and then the next one is another opinion.
Yep, brilliant.
You can actually comment about.
How both of
I'm
them.
now trying to
Perfect.
understand different perspectives and
Yep.
maybe unsure about what my understanding is.
Exactly right. That's perfect. Yeah, very good. Cool. So, ladies, if you have any further questions, please email me. Or Hub is on every lunchtime on Monday and Friday, before school Wednesday and Friday, and there'll be a couple more sessions like this going through really specific things for the folio. I think the next one will be on reliability and credibility, and how to tell the difference and what they actually mean. And then when the outcome comes, we'll actually be doing another one as well. Okay, so keep an eye on the notices. Thank you for coming.